All right, and we're recording. What's up, guys? My name is Devin Jackson. I'm a contributor with XFL Press. I am joined by a special guest today, Brock Miller. He played for the Seattle Dragons in the XFL. Brock, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, Devin. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty well, man. Excited to have you on to talk all things football, all
Yes,
things
sir.
XFL, and just where you at with your career. So, for kind of first question, how have you been since we last seen you on the field in XFL?
I've been pretty good. Minus the fact not playing as of right now. That's kind of been hard just because how quickly kind of everything, was ripped away. It seemed like it was pretty funny. We had a team meeting with Coach Zorn up in Seattle on Monday, I believe, after we played in Houston the following or the previous Saturday. And he said, look, we're going to go about our business this week. The coronavirus thing is kind of flaring up. Um, the LA Wildcats were supposed to come to us at Century Link for week 6. And he said, that's still on. We're going to game plan for that. And he said, but there's going to be no fans at the stadium. And we all kind of said, okay, that is what it is. And then within, I think it was 48 hours or less of him telling us, we're going to play week 6 at home with no fans to 48 hours later going, here's your plane ticket home. We don't know kind of what the future holds at this point. So it was such a quick turnaround. One day we're in our facility getting ready and halfway through a season, and then it's like, boom, I'm back here home in San Diego. Just what do I do now type thing. So it was crazy.
And obviously you talked about just everything just kind of stopping and just pretty much just ending for the XFL.
Yeah.
Personally, how did that make you feel for someone that came into XFL? Looking to get back into the NFL, and then two, what types of things have you been doing? To kind of stay in shape and stay ready for football.
Sure. I mean, to answer the last question, first of all, I mean, I kind of pride myself on the always ready mentality. I got a good group of guys that I train with here in Southern California. So staying ready, staying in shape is something that I love to do regardless. But, it was frustrating. I feel like, our specialist group as a whole, me, myself, and Ernesto, our kicker, and Noah Borden, our snapper, we were all really starting to really, I think, hit our stride. And that, like I said, was shut down so quickly. So it was frustrating. I feel like I left some money on the table. I was sort of battling a little hamstring problem for the beginning of the season that was really gotten corrected as we were getting to weeks 4 and 5. And I was really starting to feel like I was on an upwards trend. And I was like, you know what, I think I can really finish the season strong. And our team as a whole was doing really well too. We had BJ Daniels come in at quarterback, and just everybody had a lot of confidence. And then it was just kind of just this numbness, once it kind of all came to a screeching halt. So that was a bummer. But as of now, yeah, I'm still staying ready for hopefully, whether it's the XFL 3.0 or an NFL call, I'm really hitting the ball well right now. So that's a plus.
Now we're going to kind of back it up. Obviously we know you from the XFL and some time spent in NFL, but kind of going back into kind of your younger days. When did you first start, kicking and punting? And was that, something once you started that you knew you could potentially make a career out of?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I was growing up, I played flag football at the YMCA. I was always a little smaller, but I was pretty quick, and I thought, I was a pretty good receiver. And then going into high school, tackle football freshman year, all my buddies were going to try out for the team, and I was like, man, I'm still pretty small. I've never played, you know, full contact football before. I was a little timid, to be honest. And I sort of thought to myself, I was like, there was no kicking or punting in the flag football that I played growing up. So I was like, maybe I could try out for the football team and be a kicker or punter and still be able to play with my friends. So I literally took my freshman year. All my buddies went and tried out and made the team, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my freshman year away from organized football, and I'm going to practice kicking because I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be something I'm good at. And I literally just went to the field with my dad with like a little kicking tee, trying to put it through the uprights, trying to punt the ball, stuff like that. And then came back sophomore year football rolled around, I tried out, played JV, played 2 years of varsity after that, junior, senior year, and then ended up getting a scholarship to Southern Utah. And I was like, you know what, this was kind of crazy how it all worked out. But I don't think I had a career. I don't think I would have had a scholarship to play receiver or anything like that anywhere. So things fell into place, and my punting has just really never stopped improving. And so to be able to make a career out of it has just been a dream come true, because that's truly what I love doing, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. So.
That's awesome, man. Now, kind of diving a little bit deeper into,
Sure.
you essentially you self-taught how to be able to punt and kick, or was
At
it?
first, yeah, when I was first like a freshman in high school, and I knew I wanted to play as a sophomore in the following year, I was just self-taught. That was kind of when YouTube was first taking off, and I was like, I was just scratching and clawing, looking for some kind of help to figure out. I mean, I was literally watching NFL games, like rewinding constantly, watching kickers, watching punters, stuff like that. And then luckily, I got plugged in with a former NFL kicking coach down here in San Diego, Michael Husted. He had a 9-year career with the Buccaneers, Raiders, the Chiefs, and he kind of gave me some more definitive instruction. And I still work with him today. And I think if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be where I am. But that was self-taught at the beginning for sure, and then just applied practice. And I think to this day, I think there's people that maybe have a more naturally gifted leg than I do, or things like that. But work ethic has got me to where I am for sure. Just flat out putting the hours in, when other people won't. So.
Now, where did you grow up at? Where was kind of your upbringing? What was it in San Diego or?
Yeah, North County, San Diego, Encinitas, Carlsbad area. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to high school. I went to Santa Fe Christian there in Solana Beach, and I'm currently just east of that now here in San Marcos. So yeah, Southern California down here in San Diego. Did my 4 years at Southern Utah, and then moved right back here to kind of chase the dream, and then up to Seattle for a bit, obviously, and now I'm back here, just staying ready.
Now, Southern Utah, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. Were there other scholarship offers you had, and what was the deciding factor to go into Southern Utah?
I always knew in high school, I was never a 5-star kicking recruit or anything like that. I knew even as a junior in high school, I was like, I want to play 4 years. After I had kind of done some research, I talked to some guys who had walked on at USC or some of these bigger schools. I'd kind of seen how if you're not a scholarship guy, you may not see the field until junior or senior. And even then, when it is your time or you are the next in line, they may recruit a top kid who's, a top recruit to come in and play. And so I knew for me, it was really important that, I wanted to make the most out of that 4 years NCAA eligibility that I had. And, I was looking to walk on at San Diego State here. Boise State was showing some interest. Some of the smaller schools, Cal Poly, UC Davis. And then I had a call from coach up in Southern Utah, and he said, just, we'd like to do like an official visit with you. Just come up. I ended up driving up with my parents like a few weeks later, and it just really felt right up there. And they said, if you come in and win the starting job, we'll offer you a scholarship. And I fell in love with the school, the blue collar sort of atmosphere up there that the head coach at the time had. I was like, this is going to be a perfect fit for me. And it was, and I wouldn't change it to this day. I loved my 4.5 years up there. It was great.
Do you have a top moment in game at Southern Utah that specifically stands out to you?
The first thing that came to mind just then, 2012, we were at Montana, the Grizzlies. Was sort of a FCS powerhouse, or at least was back then. And that was our first year. We had just changed conferences. We were in the Big Sky Conference at that point. We were down by a field goal and in the fourth quarter at their place, and I had a fake punt where it was like a 30-yard run, 22-yard run or something like that, where all their guys backed off, and I was able to just kind of tuck the ball and run. And then it actually set up a field goal for our kicker later in the game to win it. And so that was just in that atmosphere, running a fake punt, that was awesome. Lots of other great memories though. Playing at Cal, again, punting to Keenan Allen, that was another one. Stuff like that, just, stuff you wouldn't trade for the world. But I'd say that fake punt was for sure a top moment.
Now, transitioning, of course, from college to the NFL, you spent some time, with the Giants, 49ers, Rams. I believe you went to Saints mini camp. What was your favorite time and favorite team to be a part of? And what was it like being around, these other NFL guys and kind of being in the locker room and the culture?
When I was first coming out of college, I was first getting workouts. I had just at first stepping into buildings at first, being a small school guy, it was just, even that was eye opening. And then every year as I progressed, I sort of climbed the ladder. I had workouts, and then I had mini camps, and then I was able to sign to a practice squad. And then finally this past year, playing in the preseason with the LA Rams was an absolute dream come true. A little, backstory with my family and I. My dad raised my brother and I as Rams fans. They were in St. Louis when we were growing up, but I can remember 1999, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Ricky Prohl, Marshall Faulk, those guys, greatest show on turf, watching them in St. Louis in the Super Bowl against the Titans. It was just like, it was the coolest thing, as a Rams fan as a kid. And then Coach Fossil, the special teams coordinator for the Rams, these past few years, calling me and saying he wanted me to come punt for them in the preseason. And that to be my first NFL game experiences in a Rams uniform was just, words really can't even describe it. Being able to play in the Coliseum, just those 4 games, learning from Johnny Hecker as well, Greg Zuerlein, those guys, just all of that was a dream come true. And then the icing on the cake was my performance. I feel like I really did well out there. You finished through 4 games of the preseason, second in net punt behind a Pro Bowler, Brett Kern, who's with the Tennessee Titans. And it was just like, I didn't want to wake up from that dream. So it was pretty dang cool. And the whole ride so far has just been something I wouldn't trade for anything, for sure.
Yeah, you sound like you have really unique perspective on everything that's going on. And obviously fast forward to the XFL, you got drafted, by the Dragons. What was kind of your first impressions of being drafted by the Dragons and then being in the city of Seattle?
I didn't really get to appreciate the draft process. I actually missed the call from, I think it was Tony Softly that called me, or our special teams coordinator, Steve Hagan. I missed the call. I was on a flight. I was actually working out for the Broncos that day. So I didn't get to really soak it all in. I actually remember the first thing I heard, I saw it on Twitter that I was drafted before I even heard anything. Literally my flight landed and I looked at Twitter and I was like, oh, whoa, what's going on? So I was like, okay, I was super excited, but I was also really focused. I was actually working out that same day. They flew me in the day of the workout. So I was like, I'm excited, but I'm also let me just focus on this. The task at hand, I did that. And then I was really able to soak it in. I was like, man, this feels, it was a really good feeling. I had a feeling maybe they bring in a competition, but, for that moment and even those 5 games, it felt good to be the punter for a professional team. Whereas, I've always kind of been the second guy. So that was a really cool experience. And then, I didn't know much about the city of Seattle, but man, they love their sports. And I think that was the best franchise in the XFL by far, with the fan base and the support that we had that, I'm dying to go back. I hope we get another shot. So.
And being a part of the XFL, obviously rebooted, from the early 2000s, 90s, and, things kind of changed. How was it like being in the XFL and being with some of these guys? Some of them bounced around the NFL, some of them freshly out of college, varying guys with varying degrees of experience and getting to know them.
I think there's a couple things I want to touch on. The first thing, when we first reported in December for our mini camp, everything across the board was super professional right off. I didn't know, nobody really knew what to expect or how things were going to be organized, this and that, because it was, it had never really been done before this reboot. It had been so long. So everything was super professional. And the other thing that I really thought thought was cool was that, when you get signed to an NFL team or a practice squad or you come in for a workout, the team's already set. They're already doing their thing, and then you're coming on board. This was a group of, I don't know, 70 guys reporting in December from all walks of life, all over the U.S., all different stories. Guys, our snapper had no pro experience. Essentially, he was just a year out of college. And then we got guys, like BJ, who had, a couple Super Bowl appearances, or, it's just everybody's story was so unique, and we were all coming together for the first time to build a team. That, the chemistry was really cool, and everyone was really tight. And I'm dying to see a lot of those guys again. So just overall, another experience I definitely wouldn't trade for anything. It was really cool. So.
And kind of diving into your team, kind of quick fire questions here. Who was the most entertaining teammate for you?
Most entertaining teammate, I got to go with Jordan Thompson, D lineman, number 99 from Northwestern. That guy, whether it was just at breakfast in the morning or on the practice field, always had something to say. Super funny, super energetic. So I like positive people a lot. He was always really positive. Somebody you definitely want to hang around. And then, my roommate, John Santiago, he was a receiver for us and a kick returner. Another super positive, hardworking guy. We had pretty much everybody, everyone was really solid. Everyone had common goals to win, to put our best foot forward on tape. And it was just a really easy work environment to get comfortable with. And, I can honestly say I enjoyed it all. So, but those two guys stand out for sure.
Who are you closest to or are closest to on the team?
Naturally the specialists, just because we spend the most time together at practice. So Ernesto Lacayo, our kicker, and then Noah Borden, our long snapper. I think we're close, just, a lot of similar personalities, and also, what we do is so much different than everyone else on the field. And then as far as other positions, Austin Prohl and I, pretty close because we spent time together at the Rams, and then coming straight over to the Dragons. And then John Santiago as well, or, just being my roommate in Seattle, we spent a lot of time together, whether it was just playing video games or just, bumming around Seattle, whatever. But yeah, everyone was really awesome. So it was great.
Couple more questions here. I heard you mention video games. What video games do you play?
So I had a Nintendo Switch in our room, so we were playing Super Smash Brothers, probably a little bit more than we should. We actually, when all 8 teams were in Houston for the training camp, we actually had a couple noise complaints at our hotel because we were getting a little rowdy, and they thought we were doing stuff we shouldn't be doing, but we were just playing video games and getting after it, being competitors, at the end of the day, competing on and off the field. So super fun, stuff like that. Even the little things not football related, I'm kind of missing it all right now for sure.
I saw you recently working out with Marquette King, someone that, a lot of people know about, and, obviously his style and kind of his swagger and whatnot. What kind of things do you guys work on when you're working out together, and how is he just as a person?
Oh, he's a great guy. And he's, I told him this when we first met in St. Louis, playing each other in week 4. He was a guy that I had seen on YouTube. I had seen on Sundays, obviously, with the Raiders, that I looked up to coming out of college. I was like, you know what, I want to hit punts like he does one day. And then for it to come full circle, 5 years later in the XFL, and we're playing against each other. It was really cool. And then their kicker, Taylor Russolino, with St. Louis, great buddy of mine. He's about an hour and a half up the road up in Huntington. And he said, hey, Marquette's in town. Let's just work. And, I've been driving up to work with them because I'm a firm believer in competition. That's always going to raise everybody's skill level, skill ceiling. And then just being around like-minded guys that have the same goals, just to be the best that they can, whether it's in the XFL, the NFL. Those two guys, especially Taylor and Marquette, those guys, they want to be the best, and those are the guys you want to surround yourself with. But can't say enough good things about Marquette, and he's helped me out. We've helped each other. It's awesome. So he's back in Scottsdale now, I believe, or Phoenix. But anytime he's out in San Diego, I'm, chomping at the bit to train with him because, he's a legend. So.
And I know you touched on this a little bit, just being around the guys and whatnot. What was your favorite moment from playing with the Dragons in the XFL?
Oh gosh. Definitely, our win against Tampa at home. I think that was our first home game. CenturyLink was going crazy. It was a close game. Tampa was, we were kind of exchanging blows back and forth. Just that whole atmosphere, just seeing, like, I could only imagine what it would be like, a Seahawks game, something like that. Because it was pretty rowdy. It was super fun. And then I had a punt like down at the 1 yard line late in the game that sort of sealed it for us, pinned them back, and that was something I'll never forget. That was probably top memory for sure.
Last question here. You've had quite the journey. You've, went from, playing receiver, and then, you changed position in high school, went to Southern Utah, and then kind of bounced around the NFL, XFL. What do you have to say to those guys that are, kind of questioning themselves right now, kind of in with everything going on, COVID-19, and unsure about, whether they should keep pursuing football, playing football?
Yeah, I mean, this, being like the whole quarantine thing, all this stuff has, kind of given a lot of guys, or just everybody in general, a lot of time alone to think, to kind of process things, what's going on. And, my dad always told me growing up, it's like, look, never give up on your dreams. If it's something, if it's truly your dream, is something that you're passionate about, that gets you up in the morning, then it's not a grind, so to speak. Everyone says, oh, the grind, but it's like, for me, it's really not. It's just about doing what you love and kind of staying true to yourself. And I know that I still have what it takes to play at a super high level. And I'm hoping for some more opportunities, for sure. But, to other guys questioning that, it's like, when it's time to move on, or whether the fire's still burning. And the other thing is, don't let anybody else tell you when you're done, or when you should move on. That's on you. That's something I have, of course, crossed my mind at 29 years old. But that's for you to decide. And I still got a lot left to give, for sure, a lot left in the tank. And problem is, you can't walk away and then come back when you're 38. You know what I mean? So I'm full speed ahead, and I hope a lot of the other guys that are playing the XFL are as well too, because there's a lot of talent out there, and I'm gonna keep going, keep pushing.
All right, Brock. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk kind of about your career and everything that's going on, man. Hope to do it again soon, and hope you get an offer here soon, man. Really enjoy watching you play.
Appreciate it, Devin, man. Thanks again. We'll be in touch, and I'll let you know if I hear anything.
Of course, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Have a good one.